AI looks like it's everywhere right now. Open your feed, and it feels like every week there's a new agent, a new video model, a new coding tool, a new search feature, a new "this changes everything" launch. But then you look at actual work. People are still writing client emails, still sitting in meetings, still digging through Google Drive, still copying notes into documents, still checking spreadsheets, still approving refunds, invoices, proposals, tickets, and content drafts. So the strange part is this. AI feels unavoidable online, but in real workplaces it's still uneven. McKinsey's 2025 Global AI Survey says AI use keeps spreading, but turning AI from pilots into scaled impact is still a work in progress for many organizations. Pew also found that only 21% of U.S. workers say at least some of their work is done with AI, while 65% say they don't use it much or at all in their job. That gap is the whole story, because the AI trends that matter most are not always the loudest ones. They're the ones starting to change what people repeatedly do. A flashy demo can be interesting, but a tool that helps draft the weekly client update, summarize the sales call, check a support queue, build a prototype, or create a first version of a short-form video that matters differently. That's the line this video is about, not which AI trends are viral. But which ones have started crossing from impressive demo into practical workflow? To make that useful, we'll use a simple filter, the Workflow Impact Filter. A trend matters more when it does at least one of 5 things. It changes a repeatable task. It shows up inside tools people already use. It changes what humans need to be good at. It creates a new trust, privacy, review, or disclosure issue. Or it changes what you should test, monitor, learn, or ignore. That doesn't mean every trend here is mature. It doesn't mean every tool is worth paying for. And it definitely doesn't mean every job is suddenly at risk. It means these 7 trends have enough practical signal that they deserve attention. Number 1, AI agents. The first one is the loudest trend on the list, AI agents. For a long time, most AI tools were basically answer machines. You typed something in. The model gave you text back, then you still had to do the work. Agents change the equation because they move AI closer to action. OpenAI's ChatGPT agent is a signal in that direction. It can use tools and a virtual computer for multi-step tasks, while OpenAI emphasizes user control, permissions, interruptibility, and safeguards. Anthropic's Claude for Chrome points in the same direction. A browser agent can navigate pages, click buttons, fill forms, and move through browser-based workflows, while Anthropic also warns that sensitive actions need review. That's the useful way to think about agents. Not magic employees, not fully autonomous coworkers, more like managed delegation. You might ask an agent to collect public research and organize it into a table. You might ask it to move through a browser workflow that normally takes 10 manual steps. You might ask it to prepare a first version of a CRM follow-up. But the important part is the boundary. What can it see? What can it change? What needs confirmation before it happens? What do you have to review before anything gets sent, submitted, purchased, deleted, or shared? That's where a lot of the hype gets this wrong. If someone says agents are ready to automate most work without supervision, that's too broad. But if someone says agents don't matter because they're imperfect, that also misses the signal. The shift is not that AI can suddenly do everything. The shift is that AI is starting to move from answer this to help do this. And once AI can act, even in limited ways, the real question changes. You're no longer only asking, what can this model say? You're asking, what should I let this system do? That's why agents matter. Number 2, embedded AI. The next trend is quieter, but for most people it may be more important. AI is moving into the tools where work already happens. A standalone AI app can be powerful, but every extra step adds friction. Open a new tab, copy the context, paste the output back, clean it up, check if it broke the formatting. That's enough friction for a lot of people to stop using it after the novelty wears off. Embedded AI works differently. Google is putting Gemini across work surfaces like Gmail, Docs, Meet, Drive, and other parts of Workspace. Microsoft 365 Copilot and Copilot Studio show the same broader pattern inside Microsoft's productivity and agent ecosystem. The point is not that every feature will be good. Some will be useful. Some will be forgettable. Some will feel overpriced. Some will be annoying. But distribution changes behavior. If AI is already in your inbox, your document editor, your meeting tool, your file system, or your workplace software, it has a much better chance of becoming part of a habit. A small business owner may not care about the latest AI demo on X, but they might care if the tool inside their email can draft a client reply. A freelancer may not want another productivity app, but they might use AI if it's already inside the document where they're writing a proposal. A manager may not go looking for an AI meeting assistant, but if the meeting tool starts summarizing decisions, action items, and follow-ups, that changes the default. This is the difference between novelty and infrastructure. Novelty is a tool you remember to try. Infrastructure is a tool that appears where the work already is. The caution is important. Integration does not prove value. Just because a feature is embedded doesn't mean it improves your work. Vendor rollouts show direction. They don't prove universal productivity gains. But as a trend signal, embedded AI matters because it changes the adoption path. The tool you have to visit competes for attention. The tool inside your existing workflow changes what feels normal. And once AI is sitting inside work tools, one of the clearest places it starts changing production is software. Number 3, AI coding agents. That brings us to AI coding agents. This one sounds like a developer story, but it's bigger than that. GitHub Copilot agents show coding tools moving beyond autocomplete. GitHub's Cloud Agent lets users assign tasks to coding agents, and the broader direction is AI helping with more than the next line of code. VS Code's Copilot agent mode points the same way. It can perform multi-step coding tasks, read files, suggest edits, run commands and tests, and respond to errors. The lazy takeaway is developers are replaceable. That's not the useful takeaway. The better takeaway is that software work is becoming more supervised, more iterative, and more review-heavy. The human role shifts. You still need technical judgment. But more of the work becomes defining the task clearly, giving context, checking the changes, running tests, spotting what broke, and knowing when something needs deeper review. And that matters outside engineering teams. A non-technical operator may want a simple, internal checklist app. A freelancer may want to turn a repeated spreadsheet process into a lightweight workflow. A small business may want a basic tool for approvals, status updates, bug reports, or client intake. AI coding tools can make the first draft of those ideas easier to explore. But first draft is not the same as production. That boundary matters. If the tool touches customer data, payments, private files, security, contracts, or anything business critical, you still need expert review. So the trend is not anyone can build anything safely now. The trend is that the distance between an operational idea and a software prototype is shrinking. That changes how teams think. Instead of waiting months to test whether an internal tool might help, a team may be able to prototype the shape of it earlier. But the judgment moves to a new place. What should we build? What data does it touch? What could go wrong? What needs testing? When do we stop experimenting and bring in someone technical? That's why coding agents matter even if you never plan to become a developer. They're not just changing code, they're changing who can start shaping software and what kind of review becomes more important before that software becomes real. Number 4, AI search. The fourth trend is different because it isn't about making things. It's about being found. AI search is one of the easiest trends to exaggerate. You'll hear claims like SEO is dead, websites are dead, search traffic is dead, and everyone needs to rebuild their strategy overnight. That's too simple. But ignoring AI search would also be a mistake. Google has said AI overviews and AI mode are changing search behavior, including increased usage for certain query types where AI overviews appear in markets like the US and India. The safe interpretation is this: AI search is changing how people ask questions and how answers get packaged. It doesn't prove every publisher loses traffic. It doesn't prove every old search strategy stops working. And it doesn't mean creators, consultants, freelancers, or small businesses should panic rewrite their entire content plan because of one product update. But discovery is becoming more answer-shaped. That matters. Think about how people search when they're closer to a real decision. They don't just type email marketing tool. They ask, what's the best email marketing tool for a solo consultant with a small list? They don't just search AI video. They ask, can I use AI video for YouTube Shorts without hurting trust? They don't just search CRM. They ask, which CRM is simplest for a small service business that hates admin? AI search fits that longer, more conversational behavior. For a creator, that may mean people get a summarized answer before they ever click. For a consultant, it may mean prospects compare you against alternatives in a more direct way. For a small business, it may mean your visibility depends less on repeating simple keywords and more on whether your expertise can be understood, summarized, cited, and compared. The answer is not search is dead. The answer is the path from question to answer is changing. So the practical move is not panic, it's monitoring. What questions is your audience asking? What sources are being surfaced? What comparisons keep appearing? What does AI summarize accurately and what does it miss? AI search matters because it changes discovery behavior, but the impact is uneven. It varies by query, industry, geography, and audience. The evidence is still more complicated than the loudest claims suggest, so the decision is simple: monitor and adapt. Don't declare the old world over. The same pattern shows up in creation. AI can lower friction, but it doesn't remove the need for taste or trust. Number 5, AI video. That's the fifth trend. AI video entering creator workflows. AI video has had a lot of demo energy. Some clips look impressive, some look strange, some are useful for ideation, some still feel like novelty. The reason this trend matters now is that AI video is moving closer to the places creators already publish. YouTube integrated VO3 Fast into Shorts for mobile AI video creation with sound. That's different from a standalone demo tool sitting off to the side. It means generation is moving into the creator platform itself. For creators, freelancers, marketers, and small businesses, this changes production friction. You might test 3 visual ideas for a short before spending real editing time. You might mock up a storyboard before pitching a client. You might create a rough concept for a campaign before hiring a team or shooting anything. That's useful, but there's a hidden trade-off. When more people can create more visual content faster, the scarce thing changes. Speed becomes less special. Taste matters more. Trust matters more. The ability to decide what should exist and what should not becomes more important. And the platform rules point in that direction too. YouTube requires creators to disclose meaningfully altered or synthetically generated realistic content. That tells you the trend is not just AI generation. It's AI generation plus disclosure. Speed plus judgment. Creation plus audience trust. A creator can use AI video to test ideas faster. A small business can use it to visualize a concept before producing the real thing. A freelancer can use it to mock up a style or sequence. But AI video doesn't make taste automatic. It doesn't guarantee distribution. It doesn't replace a point of view. and it doesn't remove the responsibility to be clear with the audience when realistic content is synthetic or meaningfully altered. So the better question is not, can AI replace production? It's, where can AI help me test creative ideas faster without damaging trust? That's why AI video belongs on this list. Not because every demo is ready for prime time, because AI is entering the creator workflow and the trust layer is coming with it. That trust layer leads directly to trend 6. Number 6. Governance. Governance. That word sounds boring. It sounds like paperwork, committees, compliance decks, and people saying risk management in a meeting where nothing gets decided. But in practical terms, governance is much simpler. It's the review layer. Once AI starts drafting emails, summarizing meetings, creating videos, writing code, searching information, and acting in browsers, every team needs to answer a few basic questions. Who checks the output? What data is allowed in? What actions require approval? What should AI never do? NIST's generative AI profile frames generative AI as something organizations need to manage through risk identification and aligned risk management actions. For a large organization, that may become a formal program, but the basic idea applies even to a small team. If AI summarizes customer complaints, a human approves any refund decision. If AI drafts client emails, someone checks facts, tone, promises, and attachments before sending. If AI helps with invoices, approvals, or internal reports, the team decides which parts can be assisted and which parts need human verification. If an agent can act in a browser, the team decides what it can access, what it can change, and what requires confirmation. That's governance in plain English. Not bureaucracy for its own sake. A review system. This matters because AI creates new failure modes. An AI summary can sound clean and still miss the real decision. A generated client email can be polite and still promise the wrong thing. A coding assistant can speed up a prototype and still introduce a security issue. A synthetic video can look convincing and still need disclosure. An agent can be helpful and still click somewhere you didn't expect. So trust is not a separate topic from AI adoption. Trust is part of the workflow. And this is where the conversation gets more useful. Instead of asking, is AI good or bad? Ask, where does AI need review? That question changes the whole discussion. For most viewers, the practical move is simple. Before adding AI to a workflow, write down 4 things. What data goes in? Who checks the output? What actions require approval? Where should AI not be used? That won't solve every risk. It's not legal advice, it's not a full compliance program, but it turns AI risk from a vague fear into an operating habit. And as AI moves from demos into real work, that review layer becomes part of the product. Once you see that, the final trend becomes clearer. Number 7, workflow judgment. The real AI skill shift is workflow judgment. A lot of AI career advice still sounds like this. Learn prompting. And yes, prompting can help. But prompting is not enough. As AI becomes embedded, action-oriented, and more capable, the valuable skill is not only writing better instructions into a chat box, it's knowing how work should be redesigned around AI without losing control of quality, trust, or responsibility. WEF's Future of Jobs. Report 2025 points to AI and big data as important fast-growing skills, alongside technology literacy, cybersecurity, and human skills such as analytical thinking. McKinsey's evidence points in a similar practical direction. High-performing AI organizations are more likely to redesign workflows and define when model outputs need human validation. That is the skill shift, not just better prompts. Better judgment around the work. Take a client email. The prompt matters. But the real skill is knowing the client context, the relationship, the facts that need checking, the tone that fits, the risk of the message, and whether the email should be sent at all. Take a meeting summary. AI can produce a clean recap, but a human still needs to know whether it captured the actual decision, missed the tension in the room, invented a detail, or turned a vague discussion into a false commitment. Take a spreadsheet analysis. AI can help find patterns, but the human needs to know whether the data is clean, whether the conclusion makes sense, and whether the decision is too important to trust without review. That's workflow judgment. And it's the thread running through all 7 trends. Agents require judgment about permissions and review. Embedded AI requires judgment about which integrations are actually useful. Coding agents require judgment about context, testing, and production risk. AI search requires judgment about discovery, credibility, and changing user behavior. AI video requires judgment about taste, disclosure, and audience trust. Governance requires judgment about where the review layer belongs. So the durable AI skill is not memorizing a list of tools. It's learning how to decide what AI should do, what humans should check, and where the boundary belongs. That's much more useful than chasing every new launch. The workflow impact filter. So when the next AI trend shows up, don't start with the demo. Start with the work. Ask 5 questions. Does this change a repeatable task? Is it showing up inside tools people already use? Does it change what humans need to be good at? Does it create a new review, privacy, security, or disclosure issue? Does it change what I should test, monitor, learn, or ignore? That's the workflow impact filter. And it's the difference between tracking AI noise and understanding AI signal. Because the point of these 7 trends is not that everything is ready for everyone. Agents are still bounded. Embedded AI is not automatically useful. Coding agents still need review. AI search is changing discovery, but it doesn't end search strategy overnight. AI video lowers production friction, but it doesn't replace taste or trust. Governance matters, but it has to fit the real workflow. And AI skills are not a magic career guarantee. The point is that these trends have crossed an important line. They are starting to shape what gets delegated, where tools live, how software gets prototyped, how information gets found, how content gets created, how trust gets managed, and what human judgment becomes more valuable. That's what actually matters. Not the loudest launch, not the most dramatic prediction, not the trend that makes you feel behind. The trend that matters is the one that changes what people repeatedly do, check, create, approve, or decide. So the next time a new AI update appears, don't ask, is everyone talking about this? Ask, does this change a workflow? If the answer is no, it may be interesting, but it probably doesn't need your attention yet. If the answer is yes, look for the boundary. What do you test? What do you monitor? What do you verify? What do you protect? And what should still stay human? That's how you stay informed without getting pulled into every wave of AI noise. The real value of tracking AI trends is not keeping up with everything. It's knowing what is finally starting to matter.